What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler, aka Cali Critic, for the Rough Cuts Wednesday, here to give you guys yet another Rough Cuts review. And this time I'm going to turn things over to a total guilty pleasure of mine, and it's actually a film from a certain director that is the only one I like out of it, surprisingly. But really, it's no surprise if you've seen his other films before, though, too. And that movie I'm going to be reviewing is Roland Emmerich's Independence Day. So the premise for Independence Day is about as simple as it can get. On July 2nd, a huge alien mothership, miles wide in diameter, lands over New York City, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C., and soon starts appearing all over the world. As everyone starts to scramble to try and figure out what's happening, we center on three characters in particular. Captain Stephen Hiller, a Marine Corps pilot, played by Will Smith, an MIT-educated satellite technician, played by Jeff Goldblum, and finally, the President of the United States, played by Bill Pullman, along with his cabinet. Through these three different characters, we get to see how the world handles this huge situation as the aliens start to invade by blowing up several big landmarks of the United States. So we decide that on July 4th, it's our Independence Day, we're gonna fight back. They're not gonna take us down. Now it's funny though, because it took me a while to actually see this movie, because I am always trying to just get to see as many movies as I can. And I gotta say that this is one of the coolest blockbusters I've ever seen, and it really defines the term blockbuster. First off, the thing that really makes Independence Day such a famous blockbuster is that the visual effects really stand for its time back for the 1990s. The motherships are done very creatively, and that famous 5-minute sequence that involves the motherships blowing up all these different landmarks across the world and just causing everything to just explode around it from its firewall that it creates. It is a thing of beauty, I gotta tell you. Like, it is some of the best destruction I have ever seen on film. Performance-wise, this film is good. Like, this film really launched the career of Will Smith. He does a fantastic job in this film, and he's got that one famous line that everyone keeps on quoting from the film. Welcome to Earth. Jeff Goldblum does great in this film too. Just the thing is about his character is that he's nowhere funny as he usually is in some of the films he does, but he does a really good job playing serious in this film. And Bill Pullman surprisingly does a pretty good job as the president, as the famous speech that he gives for "This is our Independence Day." That's actually one of my favorite speeches that I've seen in a film. I really enjoy that one too. The film is co-written and directed by Roland Emmerich, aka the guy who loves to destroy the world in most of the films he does, especially for The Day After Tomorrow and 2012, which are two movies that I don't really like of his, because I haven't really liked any of his movies except for Independence Day. He does a good job directing this film. Like, you know, he's the kind of director to rely on when you have a lot of visual effects that you gotta put on screen, so he's definitely the man to go with this film. The kind of filmmaker that he is, and the fact that he writes almost all his own films too with a collaborator in the process, you know you're gonna get those cheesy moments, and there are a lot of those in these. Like, the dialogue is half-assed in some scenes, the humor falls flat, but it's really his handling of the material for the big set pieces that involve a lot of the visual effects. That's why his direction works for this film. He'll never be a strong writer in my mind, though. So overall, Independence Day, while it is a flawed film, of course, it defines the term blockbuster, and it's definitely one of my favorites there are. And on Blu-ray, it just looks even better than it already was on DVD, because you'll get to see those awesome blow-up sequences in HD and surround sound. Now, that is a perfect combo right there. Overall, I think I give Independence Day a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely a very cool blockbuster. It's nothing memorable at all, but it is memorable for being one of the first few films that really launched the blockbuster name. But I really enjoy it, so you definitely gotta check it out if you got the time. So I hope you enjoyed my review of Independence Day. You can tune in next Wednesday for the next Rough Cuts Wednesday with me reviewing yet another film. And if you want to see more of what I do, head over to my main channel, Cali Critic Reviews, also to see my early review of The Hangover Part 2, which the link is right here if you want to see that. So in the meantime, I'll see you guys next Wednesday for yet another Rough Cuts review. Goodbye.